6 things every Canadian should know about a TFSA. Number 1, they are not just for the rich. A TFSA, or tax-free savings account, is an account in which Canadian residents 18 years and older can save or invest using after-tax dollars. Income earned on contributions is not taxed. The TFSA account holder may withdraw money from the account at any time free of taxes. And despite what this guy said, I'm not sure about the new hair there. They're not just for the rich. In fact, in 2015, when the annual contribution limit was rolled back by Trudeau from $10,000 to $5,500, more than 2.9 million TFSA holders, or 27.5% of the total, had total income of less than $25,000 when the numbers again were crunched in 2013. So 28.6% reported income between $25,000 and $50,000. So more than half the TFSA account holders in Canada had incomes at the time of less than $50,000. That is not the rich. Do you think that sheltering $6,000 annually for the ultra-rich even moves the needle? It's not even a rounding error. For lower income and middle-class Canadians, encouraging savings and growth on $6,000 annually is significant. This rollback was a tax grab and hurt the middle class, contrary to the way it was sold on election day. Now, number 2, what can you put in a TFSA? Well, it's almost anything. In most cases, what can you put in there? It's most things that are allowed in an RRSP can be put in a TFSA. This would include cash, mutual funds, ETFs, individual stocks, basically any security listed on a designated stock exchange, GICs, bonds, certain small business shares as well. Now, of note, there are some investments that are not yet permitted or not permitted in a TFSA. Number 1 would be securities that trade only on the OTC, over-the-counter market, are not allowed in a TFSA. For me, this rule is arbitrary and really doesn't make much sense, but there it is. Currently, there is no way to hold cryptocurrencies directly, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum, in a TFSA. That is unless you use Bitcoin or Ethereum exchange-traded funds to gain exposure. Other digital assets such as non-fungible tokens or NFTs, because they are not listed on a designated stock exchange, are not permitted. So if you look here, I mean, this may be a good thing if you look and bought, theoretically into your TFSA, this NFT it's a Bored Ape NFT. 6 months ago, it was $433,000. Recently, it sold for $51,000. Those losses in there can't be made up in your TFSA, so maybe it's a good thing. Let's look at number 3 here. How much cash can I put into TFSA, essentially? Now, the maximum amount, how much you can contribute annually to your TFSA, is currently $6,000. This number is called your annual TFSA contribution room. Fortunately, the total amount you can contribute is cumulative. It's cumulative. This means that any unused contribution room will be carried over from one year to the next. Now, here's a quick table on the TFSA contribution limits and the total TFSA limit cumulative from 2009 when it was created to 2022 today. And you can see there in 2015, it jumped up to 10,000 and then was taken back by Mr. Trudeau to 5,500. If you don't have a TFSA, you can contribute a total of 81,500 tax-free as long as you were eligible and at least 18 years of old in 2009, the year the TFSA was created. And there's a great table. And we're going to move to number 4 here. Don't over-contribute or face the consequences. There are penalties for breaking the rules in a TFSA. The number 1 that we're going to focus on here, there's others, but this is the number 1, is over-contributions. If you contribute too much to your TFSA, you'll pay a penalty of 1% per month on the excess amount until you remove it. If you over-contribute deliberately, you'll pay 100% on any gains or income you make on the excess amount. So make sure you do not over-contribute to your TFSA. Number 5, access to your money anytime via TFSA. It's hugely flexible. Many savings accounts, such as the RRSP, or Registered Retirement Savings Plan, or the LIRA, the Locked-in Retirement Account, are savings accounts that have some sort of penalty or conditions if you withdraw funds from them. This is not the case with the TFSA. You can take money out when you want for any reason without paying any tax. It makes it a great option. If you take money out, you can recontribute it in the following year in addition to the annual maximum. Do keep in mind, something to keep in mind is you've reached your TFSA total contribution limit, then you can't deposit that money back in until the next year. The money in your TFSA is yours, and you are totally free to access it whenever you want. This makes the TFSA a great emergency savings account, rainy day fund, but we advocate it really as a great long-term investment account as well. Number 6, and finally, will a TFSA really make a difference for me? The answer for us is yes. Let's look at this chart here and give you an example as to why. If you make $4,000 on your investments in 1 year in a TFSA, say your tax rate is 15%, you save $600 in that TFSA account versus a regular investment or savings account in 1 year, and that compounds until you take it out. That is an excellent thing. Now, my final thoughts: if you don't have one in terms of a TFSA, get one. If you have one, max it out if you can. Contrary to what some politicians will tell you, they are not devices of the rich. They are great tax-free accounts for average Canadians to legally keep some dollars away from the hands of the taxman and get ahead by building wealth. Use it. That's all I've got to say today about TFSA.